Wow. Just give me a second to take this all in as I stand on a TEDx stage. Now you must be wondering what a Miss Universe semi-finalist is doing here talking about success, when in fact I didn't take home the crown when I competed last November. The Philippines' success in pageantry, obviously we all know about that. And because of that, unfortunately, only winners have had true success stories. So, from winning the national title, I became the most criticized Miss Universe Philippines delegate. I was actually trending for quite some time for all the wrong reasons. And that was quite unfortunate, but it was because that was my third national competition. I was a totally different queen. I was sporting short hair, unconventional looks, and I believe that I was the epitome of unconventional beauty. But breaking stereotypes was not just a gimmick. This was a product of who I was, how I was brought up. You see, I was this young, tomboyish adrenaline junkie that grew up in a very isolated ranch in the US. And then further down my life, I found out that my mom was an icon for beauty. So somewhere along those lines, I kind of found myself. It was a journey of self-discovery. Although people have the perceptions of me because, of the name that I carry, of the lineage that I have, coming from a line of successful beauty queens, successful entrepreneurs, successful filmmakers. So inevitably, people thought that success would come easy, like it was served on a silver platter. But this fighting spirit, this winning spirit that is now celebrated, was because of hard work. It was because of the harsh realities. It was because of trials and overcoming all of that. So, how does somebody who was urged to back out come home treated like a winner? How did I manage to become the most bashed to one of the most loved? How is it that I was told that I was not good enough to represent the Philippines, and now I'm one of the newest tourist ambassadors of the Philippines? And for somebody who was believed didn't have what it takes, well, I can now humbly say that I am the most awarded Miss Universe delegate in the history of Miss Universe. And I have to emphasize that. I have to emphasize that I am the most awarded not in Miss Universe Philippines, but Miss Universe, bagging 4 out of the 5 major awards. And that's not seen every year. But of course, I just have to emphasize that I have a story that I have to tell. There's a story behind MMD, behind Michelle, that not everybody knows about. And I have to tell this because it's truly how you can understand who I am beyond my surface. I grew up very unconventionally. At an early age, I was always forced to make a difficult decision, one that has always tested my limits, ones that always made me face the harsh realities of life. I used to be a victim of racism. I was bullied for having 2 siblings on the autism spectrum. I was always moving from place to place that I didn't know, or I actually truly felt that I didn't belong anywhere. But as surprising as that may sound, I actually almost failed to graduate college as well. Because in this time of my life, one of the most pivotal losses in my whole journey happened. And that was the death of the only person that I believed at the time accepted me for who I was. And that was my late grandmother, Regina D. Now, I won't dabble into the specifics of what happened, but it's important to note this part of my life because it was in that moment that I realized that I could handle anything that life throws at me. I knew that whatever happened, I could find a way out of that. And because of that perspective in mind, I found the strength to compete 3 times. First was in my journey as Miss Universe Philippines. First, as my journey as Miss World Philippines, and the next back-to-back years as Miss Universe, of course, vying for that Miss Universe crown. But I have to recognize that in order to achieve such things, I first had to recognize that I first had to become a grateful and also the most hardworking person in the room. I had to believe in what I was fighting for so hard and recognize my strengths and also constantly work on my weaknesses. I had to learn how to listen to other people while being so sure about myself. I had to be so sure, but also become my worst critic. I was the captain of my own ship. Of course, I had to navigate through all of these bits and pieces alone. I had to slowly create these puzzles that I knew and believed would piece itself together eventually. Because at this point, I knew that I wasn't fighting for fame, I was not fighting for recognition, but I was fighting for my country, my advocacy, my family. And I wasn't gonna settle for anything less than they deserved. Now, let me just take this moment in again and recognize that my journey may be a testament to the hard work, to the dedication that I put into, but it's also about forging your own path and having the courage to become who you are destined to be. My journey may not be marked by a crown, but it is definitely marked by a shared love for our home and the determination to make a difference together. Now, I dare you to be different. I dare all of you to stand out. And no matter what happens, you can make your success be your noise. Thank you so much for having me here. This is a wonderful opportunity.